Okay, first thing that we need is I've actually got a little ring gauge here just for the size of ring that I'm wanting, but you don't really need this. You can basically do that on a guess. I just happen to have it. Right, I actually just clamped some pieces of wood down and put the hammer to them just to break them off. I'll show you a picture of that just now. And I've done several pieces of wood. That one didn't, I don't think, turn out that good because it's like that, so I'll put that one away. But these ones I thought I would maybe do, we'll do that one there, we'll do 3 different ones. So I've got the pieces of wood ready for them. I'm going to actually do the resin parts and then we'll shape after. I'm also going to make some, just a necklace, pendant for a necklace. So I've got another mould here. I want this also to be wood and resin, and I was thinking of maybe doing something like this so that we've got a bit of resin coming through there like that, and then we'll shape this as well. So I'm going to do that as well. So the resin that I'm going to be using, I'm going to use 2 different types of resin. To make the snow, I'm going to surround this with sellotape, which I'm going to show you next, and we will use the white amazing casting resin for that, and we shall just put the sellotape round it, and I'm just going to mix up a really tiny amount of that and just drop it onto it and then just see how it goes. With it being sellotape, I might be able to see just to manipulate it a little bit, because we're wanting it to be the snow. But the very first thing that I'm actually going to do is, forgot about that, is I have some, I was just actually going to use, I don't know if this is a great idea, but just some watercolours. I've got a tube of green there, and I was just going to use a tiny amount of this just to paint some of these upright bits like trees. I'm just going to dab the paint. There's going to be nothing fancy about it, no artist anything like this. I'm just going to drop it on. I've got a little thin brush. I'll do that bit first, and we'll give it a chance to dry, and then we'll get the tape round ready for the resin. So most of what I'm going to do now, I'm going to do in a time lapse. That's why I wanted to explain to you slightly what I was doing first. So yeah, keep watching. The next time that we come back, I'll come back before we actually pour resin. Right, that's all 3 bits just painted. Now I will need to leave these to make sure that they're dry. Yeah, so I think I'll definitely be leaving them a few hours anyway. It might be tomorrow before I actually do it, so I just want to make sure that's definitely dry before I go any further. So yeah, not looking anything spectacular, but we'll just see if it makes a difference in the long run getting it done. So that's those bits done. I'll leave them to dry. Once they're dry, I will get this mixed up, these sellotaped up, mixed up, and get that poured in. That'll be when I'll come back now. Right, on to the next bit now. So they've actually dried. Let me try and find this. They're actually dry now, so I've just wrapped them in a bit of sellotape, just so that I can just dribble a bit of this resin down there. Now this particular resin turns white. It also cures in 10 minutes. It's the Amazing Casting Resin, the same. And I don't need to put any colour in this, and that's particularly why I'm using this one. So it'll go white anyway. Now I'm only going to need the tiniest wee bit, really, to put in, and I don't know how this is going to work, but... Okay, just moved the camera back a little bit, and now I'm going to put my gloves on actually first, because I might end up getting covered in this. Right, so all I'm wanting to do is just to drop a little bit down. Let's see if we can drop it off the end of this stick maybe. Sorry, I'm blocking most of this on the camera. This round a bit. All I'm doing is just trying to drip it in there. I'm not wanting it to be overly thick. I can feel this starting to set, so I'm just going to drop it in. Yeah, that's it. Already set for some reason. I think it must be quite old. So that one is okay, but I'm going to need to make another one up because that is virtually set. Right. I'm not going to waste any more time than that this time. Let's see if we can get this in. Right, we'll leave that one like that because that might actually come out quite alright. Let's see if we can drop a little bit more in the base of there. And over to there. Now, I think I might have buggered this one altogether, but I've got some left, so I'm just going to pour it in. Right. Okay, that's put these bits out on here. Now they haven't come out that great, but I'm just going to keep going ahead with it. So what I've done is I've just cut these down a little bit smaller. I'm going to try and brush that up a little bit. I don't know if they're going to come out all that great at all. I also did one just with broken wood, and I did another one where I rounded the end off. I'm going to make moulds for these now. I've got this, this is the, I think it's for sign making, it's corrugated plastic sign making. So what I'm going to do basically is just make some, I'm going to cut some bits out and then just make some little moulds just to put this into. And I'm going to use hot glue to hold these in place and hold the corrugated plastic in place. And I've got this one here is obviously the pendant, and I want to make another square one for this piece here to make a longer pendant. So that's it. Like I say, I don't think these are going to come out very well because there's far too many bubbles in it. Don't know how I would solve that with just the to be honest, I think the resin that I'm using is a bit old and it cured a bit quicker than it normally would, and that's where all the bubbles came from. but I'm just going to go ahead and pour all this resins into here and see what comes out anyway. Okay, so I'll do a little bit of a time lapse of making this bits up, and I'll come back when I'm ready to pour resin. Right, that's all the small moulds made for this, and I've also put some silicone spray mould release. That's all I've got, so I've put that into inside there as well, and I've put a bit of hot glue. I did hot glue at the ends to try and seal the ends, and a bit of hot glue to try and hold the piece of wood in place so it doesn't float up. I'm going to be using the 2-part amazing casting resin. As you'll know from the other videos, I do have the epoxy, but these resins only have a short shelf life, so I need to get rid of all of this stuff, so I'm trying to use this bits up in between. I'm going to be using the Illuminate blue dye for a couple of them, and the Illuminate green. Will be about 3 of each really, but it's only going to be, oh god, the tiniest amount, a spot really in there, because I need it to be see-through, but I just need a slight bit of colour, so it really is going to be, fill it up and it's just going to be a slight spot. The other thing is, I don't know how much resin I'm going to use, so it's going to be a little bit of guessing on how much I'll need there. So I'm going to go off and I'll do a little time lapse really, because you don't want to watch me making up all this resin. So I'll do it as a time lapse, and obviously use a vacuum chamber in between to degas the resin and then pour it into the moulds. I'm not sure how much resin I'm going to need for this. This is the first lot. You see all this in the camera. So I'm just going to, be a bit selective out. Just going to pour the first one in. pour a green one in that one as well. One in this. Might just have made it on that. Might just have not. Right. I don't think that one will be thick enough. Let's put this one in now. Let's stick that down there to see if I can stop any resin seeping in down there. Okay. That's me all out of resin there, so I've done that too. So we shall wait and see how they come out. I'll have to mix up another couple, probably about the same amount of resin again for these two here. I'll go and do that and then I'll come back when all four are done. Okay, I've had to move the bits inside because the shed was getting incredibly dusty. That's them all filled now. It's not the best of light here. But what I'll do, as soon as they're set, I'll get some pictures of them and I'll add those in next, and then we'll come back when they're hardened to the next step. That's them all demoulded now. So I've actually got four that I'm going to attempt to make rings out of, and they're all obviously very different. That one's just the broken wood, this one's with the white epoxy at the bottom and painting the stems green, but remember they had lots of air bubbles in, which wasn't ideal, but I'm just going to continue it with it anyway. That one was just rounded off at the top, but unfortunately didn't put enough resin in that, but I'm going to continue on the same and complete it. It might not work, but we'll see. And then this also is another resin, but it's not great. Too many bubbles and that in it. But I should carry on and continue that. Now, it's just a random. This will probably fit my ring. I've got very small fingers, so this should work for me. So just get the bit that you want for yours, and I'm just going to do it on a pillar drill and just go straight down and through each of these. There probably will be some breakout, so I'm going to put a bit of wood at the back to try and stop that, limit the breakout. So this is the next phase for that. I've also got the two pendant ones, the necklace ones. So that one came out quite nice. They both came out actually very nice. This was in the greenish and this was in the blue. And it's a little bit thick, this, really. But what I'm going to do is, I just took this and did a couple of rounds at the top and the bottom, and then all I did, nothing fancy, but I just took the sellotape and just put it in between and did a round, so that I've just got some sort of oval shape. So what I'm going to do next is cut this on the bandsaw. Yeah, cut that on the bandsaw, and then I'm going to need to think where I put the hole through for the necklace, which will probably end up going through the resin, but that's fine. So I'll cut that one down on the bandsaw, and then this one I was just going to make into a longer pendant, and I can maybe put some angled edges on it once we start the sanding process. But anyway, I'll do just a quick time lapse of me doing these wee bits, and then we'll come back. Right, that's all the bits cut out. They were pretty straightforward. And actually there was no tear out with them. So, should fit on now. So now we need to make some angles with those. I'm not quite actually sure how to do this. I think I might go and cut that down straight, get them all even and cut them down on the bandsaw so that they're even either side. That one's pretty much okay, and so is that one, but these two aren't. So I'll get those ones cut down so they're even. And these are now ready for sanding. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to sand them really. I think I might just try and sand them oval and take the edges off them here to try and make them smooth them down. Anyway, that's what we're off to do next. Okay, that's them all shaped. Now this is not spectacular in any way really, because I'm just doing it for the video purposes really, so there's no real great thought in shapes and stuff, but that's the necklace. And I used a 4mm drill just for that, because I've got some leather to put into that. The rings I just tried to make, you see that there, just a wee pointy bit on the end. Same with another pendant there, and there's two rings. I think we've got one ring missing, have I? Yeah, I didn't do one. I'll need to go back and do one. That was the other one, but I forgot to do it. I'll go and do that. So that's those all done. Now the next bit that I do is, well, I'm going to try, is sanding. I'm just using Turner's mesh here. I'm going to start at 180 grit, and then 240, 320, 400 and 600 grit. And I think the way that I'm going to do it is I'm going to first go across this way, all the way over, all the way around, all the way around, and then I'm going to turn it on its side and go back the other way to see if we could just eliminate some of the lines while we're at it. That's just my thinking. So well, I'll go through all the grits with these, and then I'm going to wet sand right through from 1,500 to 12,000 grit using water, and we'll see where we go from there. Okay, that's this. Let me just move this camera a little bit. That's this first one done. I'm actually really pleased with it. You can see deep into the, sorry, I'm not getting this great on the camera. You can see quite deep in to where the wood and all that is. There is still some marks on here, because I'm not sure this is the best way that I did it. I mean, this wood's not stabilised in here, so, but oh, it feels lovely now. I do have the 3-stage polishing system, but I don't actually have it set up at the minute. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go away off camera now, and I'm going to complete, because that's what it was like, and then this is what it's like now. And what I'll do is I'm going to go away and I'm going to do these steps with all of these other bits and complete them, and then I'm going to put them on the buffing wheel, and we'll see what type of finish we get there. I'm wanting to leave this just to dry out, because as you've seen in the time lapse, I soak the wood quite well, and what I actually think I might do then is tomorrow I'll leave this overnight. Now it's quite late anyway, so it still has the blade marks and that in there, but I could have actually sanded that. I could have sanded it down more to give it an absolutely perfect finish. But what I'm going to try doing now, I'm not going to finish it anymore. I could go away and just sand up that, but I'm not going to, because I'm going to see what the polishing wheel, if that takes any of these scratches out. So I'm going to leave this overnight to dry, finish these ones up, leave those overnight to dry. I'm going to put some sand sealer on this bit, I think, to take the grain up, and then I'm going to put it onto the buffing wheel. Okay, so this is the final one in this video. Move my coffee. So here is them finished. I'll just go through each one individually first of all. wee hole there for the necklace to go through. It's a second pendant. Right, this is the ring that was actually full of all the bubbles. This was the one that it was just the snapped wood. Not quite sure how well you're able to see that. That one was just round over clear top. This one was another one with the white and the green, but obviously, well, the resin had a lot of bubbles in, and so did the white. I think the white clear casting resin that I used, white casting resin, should I say, not clear cast. I think it's out of date, and that's maybe why it bubbled so much. But I completed these anyway because I'd started them and I completed them, and you sort of get where I would want to be. I think I would use the longer cast resin, the clear cast actually, and dye it white the next time, and then put tiny drops on, because it would give me more time to move it around and less likelihood of any bubbles as well. Painting the bits up like trees would be fine. I think it would just be, you would just get the right look. I don't think every one of them would come out okay, but hopefully you see where I'm getting at. You know, there's a lot of scope in these rings. I don't know if I'd make them again. I quite enjoyed making it, but it's a lot of work. It's a lot of hand sanding. And this one's probably the clearest, and it's not that great. I can still see sanding lines in it, and I did try it on the buffing system, but it didn't take it out. I think if I'd had more time, because it was only yesterday I started sanding them, and I think I could have done with re-sanding them, and it's making sure that you go both ways on them. But I actually really quite like that that pendant there. I really like that, and I also really like this one. But it might just because the birds are beautiful. What I did in the end, because what I did to finish the wood side of things, well, I actually used a product called Yorkshire Grit, and put that on it to see if it would take out any of these lines, and it did take out some of them. And then I used Wood Wax 22. I mean, I used those products because I have them for the lathe, so that was just what I used. And well, it seems to have sealed the wood, which is the thing that you need to do. So anyway, I hope it gives you some ideas of maybe trying some of this stuff. I mean, that one's absolutely full of bubbles there. And there's bubbles all in the side, but I just, like I say, I just completed it because I wanted just to see, even though it was really bad, I wanted to just see what the look was when it was finished. And it actually looks like Mars with snow on, which is not the best look. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this video. It was just showing another side. I hadn't seen anybody trying to colour the inside of the rings for on the other few videos that I've seen. So and the pendants, I should definitely be making more of these in the future. I might actually even take the grits right back down on both of these, because I think maybe when I put it on the bench sander, just to get it down to the thickness that I wanted, that I maybe have heated it too much, and that's what's caused that. So I think maybe if I sanded it right back down and then started again, I'd probably get a lot clearer finish, so I may well go ahead and do that. But yeah, I think they actually look fine. Okay, thanks very much for watching. If you enjoyed what you've seen, please give us a thumbs up. If you've not already subscribed and you want to see more of this type of stuff, please subscribe. Any comments, please leave them below. Have a great day. Thanks very much for watching.